Hey, I hope Lola will just sit with us this whole time and be freaking adorable.
I'm Evan.
I'm Teddy, and we are the Picture and the Poet.
And last week was our 4-year wedding anniversary, so we're going to talk about our wedding day.
Yeah.
Dear Teddy, we're here. 2.5 years since day one. I'm sorry it took so long for me to come around. It's hard to pinpoint exactly when, but I think it started when we became friends. Our early morning video shoots, and hangouts and parties. I remember looking at you, seeing someone I could trust, someone I could laugh with. Now I get to laugh with you forever.
I've seen your face before. I don't recall your name. You're looking at me too long through a glass of champagne. I'm a greyhound heading at you, making all the stops. I'm a loosening my collar. I'm a drinking on the rocks. I'm not chasing you out there. I'm only bringing you in. So long as you're out there, I'll let you in. Here comes a man. Here comes a man. So good to you. Here I come. Here I come.
That was a little video that I put together last week to celebrate our 4-year anniversary. And while editing that video, we kind of got the idea to have a little conversation about 5 things that we regret about our wedding day and 5 things that we loved.
Even though we've been part of the wedding industry for more years than we've been married, we still look back. We were young. We made choices that we probably would have made differently today.
We had no idea what we were doing.
Yeah. I mean, the worst part to admit is we thought we did.
Oh, yeah. We were like, we know everything.
I've been to 30 weddings. I know exactly
Gosh,
what I
we're
like.
so stupid.
No.
The first thing that we regret is that we didn't plan our schedule around the best light. We had a very small wedding. It was only 50 people and was all pretty much in the same area in Inwood, which is north of Winnipeg. And we could have pushed everything much later to have nicer light.
Especially because we got married 2 days away from the longest day of the year.
So we planned our photos and our portraits at high noon. So it was extraordinarily hot and extremely sunny. Like all of our pictures and video are very, very bright.
I think the big mistake we made was it was an outside wedding and we got lights to hang.
That was so stupid. Yeah, we're like, oh, it's gonna be so beautiful to hang these lights in the trees.
9:30 and we're like packing up to leave to go to our
party.
Our reception party, and
It's like so bright and we're like leaving and we're like, why did we buy these lights? That was so stupid.
Another regret we had was the wedding day format and the timeline that we created for ourselves.
Yeah. We had to drive from very north of the city in Inwood, and we had to literally dash out of our beautiful reception that I wish that we had stayed at. We dashed out to this party that turns out not that many people actually showed up to, which was kind of a bummer. For example, Alicia and Scott's wedding, they had a very intimate ceremony on a rooftop, some photos with their friends, and then a pool party later. And then that's all they did that day.
Yeah.
Then a few months later, in October, they hosted more of a party. And that's where Alicia and Scott spent the majority of their money, is on this big party. And everyone had an awesome time, but they didn't have to rush away from their pool party. In hindsight, that's what we would have done. Had it a whole different day and paid for everybody's food and booze. Another regret we have was the route that we chose with wedding video.
Kind of ironic seeing as we are wedding videographers. Our friends who are also wedding videographers, they're getting married that summer. And the most
economical
solution was they filmed our wedding
we filmed their wedding.
And we literally thought it would be simple to edit our own wedding film, and that is a lie.
And I think that plays into the route you take when you are hiring your friends. And I'm not against hiring with your friends, but if you're going to hire your friends, pay your friends what your friends are worth. I understand when you're friends, you kind of want a discount and getting the mates rate. Some people expect it, but when you're doing that, you're kind of skirting around the process. I would have rather paid them what they're worth, go through their process, and then they go into the day feeling like they are compensated for taking control, creating their vision from beginning to end, getting a finished product. Another regret we have is keeping out things from the day that we thought were cumbersome. At that point, we had experience with enough weddings and had enough frustrations to have strong feelings towards certain parts of the wedding day, like
speeches, dances. At the time, we were like, they seem pointless.
We've been to so many that were just so long and frustrating.
Sure. We just took them out and we omitted them. And we kind of, spur of the moment, people felt like there was something missing in the reception. So there was like a kissing game was just brought up out of nowhere and we hadn't planned that. And so, yeah, there's no narrative for us to make a wedding film now because no one really spoke.
I think the lesson there is just because you feel something is cumbersome, go back to why that thing is there in the first place, and
think about the why.
If there's some value, work through it.
Our last regret was choosing to go on our honeymoon the day after our wedding was over. We had a pretty low-key honeymoon. We just went to my family's cottage. But there is so much, especially for a wedding that isn't a venue. Like we had it at our friend's backyard. So there's so many little details and little things that you need to clean up after or return. And we had to do so much that day and we were so tired and hungover and it was like, ugh.
Regardless of who's taking care of the stuff after, the emotional hangover of a wedding day is a really big thing. Like when we say wedding day hangover, yes, the party was fun, but also the emotional hangover of like, we've been planning this for how many months? We didn't create space for us to process that.
Yeah.
Something that I've seen some of our other couples do is after the wedding day, they invite everyone who's closely involved in the wedding and they have them over for like a brunch or a breakfast.
Love that.
So those were a few things that we regret from a wedding day, but there were a lot of things that we did that we absolutely love and were very fond memories.
The first thing that we loved that we did and have no regrets is that we had a little picnic with our bridal party right after our first look. And that's something to keep in mind and something we recommend to all of our clients is your bridal party will be hungry. Feed them, keep them liquored, keep them watered, especially if you're getting married in June like we did. It's going to be hot, it's going to be tiring for them, and you don't want them to walk down the aisle looking like zombies.
I think with the picnic as well is we didn't just take paper plates out into the backwoods. We made the event really cute and beautiful with picnic baskets, a big blanket. It was just an adorable setting. Another thing that we did really well was we hired a day of coordinator. The size of wedding does not diminish the need for a wedding day of coordinator.
People say, oh, I'm just, I'm a DIY type of person. Yeah, so are we, but those are the people that need day of coordinators the most. We hired Amanda Douglas, who is an amazing wedding planner here in the city, and she went above and beyond to make us comfortable and to really show us what we need to do. And so it was just so helpful to have her around. There's so many reasons. We would highly recommend looking to a day of coordinator. Shout out Amanda, she's the best.
Another thing that we really liked, a little controversial though.
Very.
We had an outdoor backyard wedding, but we didn't have a tent. And looking back at our photos, and we were so thankful. A lot of tents, the couple will spend money on renting the tent, but they're not gonna, it's not a clear top tent. Now everything is in the shadow while the outside is overblown.
For example, Lee and Steve's wedding last year, it was raining when they were setting up the ceremony, but it stopped raining by the time the ceremony began. So last minute we decided to move the ceremony out from underneath the tent and out just beside the tent. These are some photos of me looking very pressed and distressed inside the tent. The lighting is horrible, everything's green, and this is how it looked afterwards. Gorgeous, crisp, clean line. Yes, people were a little bit hot, but wow, it made a huge difference, and that ceremony was a huge part of their wedding film, and it would have been almost unusable if it had been under the tent. Another thing that we did that we loved was include people that we care about in our ceremony. We don't really have a connection to any pastor or priest or someone that would run a ceremony, and so we asked my best friend Jasmine to do it, and it was just lovely to have her be there and be a part of it. Evan's dad did a prayer, which was awesome and important to him.
They don't have to be a professional speaker. They don't have to be the most entertaining person. But if they care about you more than they care about the performance, they're gonna make the ceremony about you. But look at Zoe and Chris. They had their friend officiate, and he was
so nervous.
So nervous, kind of bumbled through, but he cared so much.
And it was so pleasant and so cute.
Yeah.
Everyone loved it, and so why not?
The last thing that we really liked about our wedding day is we kept it small. There was only about 50 people invited to the ceremony. Everything seemed very intimate. We were able to have meaningful conversations with every person there.
We were able to say hello and connect with everyone we invited. It's a pretty intimate venue. It was my best friend's house. It's a house. It's chill. It's our family.
And it was also a lot easier to come up with a backup plan or a rain plan, because moving 50 people is just logistically easier than moving 150 people. So a lot has changed over the last 4 years. With experience, we know what we would have done different. So of course there are things we would have changed. I think that at the end of the day, we did create a wedding day that was ours and really fond memories. So that was our wedding day. Okay, well, that was the video. Now Lola, come here. From our family to yours, happy anniversary.
Bye for now.